Entrepreneur, Audacity, audacious. Now they're watching.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Entrepreneur Audacity. Today, I'm here with a great guest, Louise. I'm really excited. We were just having a really cool conversation before we even started recording. So there's a lot we're going to unpack with this. And I am so keen to hear your thoughts on so many things, particularly in like the women's space and entrepreneurship. So Louise, please give us an intro.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. When I received your email, even the thought of two women being in a space talking about me in a positive way is an awesome thing that I wish was more around the world. So, kudos to you and Lorraine for being those positive women in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, my name's Louise. I'm 43. I opened Strong Minds Health and Wellness Studio 2.5 years ago. So December 2023. I guess life was a bit crazy at the time. My daughter was in year 9. Anyone that's been through school in year 9 or any mum that's had kids that have gone through it, it's basically a shit show for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in events at the time. I loved the job, had great staff around me. But I was in quite a prestigious yacht club at that moment, and although there was a really, really good group of members, I also felt like I was seeing the worst in the community, both women and men. Between that and I guess year 9, it was the year I was turning 40, and it was now or never. So if you want to do your business, we're never going to be ready. We're never ready to have kids. We're never ready to start a business. So it was just more, now or never. And that's sort of how it all came about.
That's exciting. It's crazy that you just have these moments where life pushes you to do things.
Yeah.
Particularly when you go into the world of entrepreneurship. We face so many challenges and so many blockages in our brain that we can't do it, shouldn't do it. We're going to fail.
Yeah.
Everything's going to go wrong, and everything will go wrong, right? I've done a lot of interviews with people and we all face the same ups and downs and like ins and outs of things going great and then things just turning into a fire pit in front of us and you can't do anything. And just like, all right, we're rolling with this. But tying back into what you said about, seeing the best and the worst in people, how did that kind of inspire you to go into business for yourself? Because I know that, God, if I think of what I was doing in year 9.
Yeah.
Jesus, sorry, Mum and Dad, I'm still apologising.
My parents would say the same, so you're fine.
But what were the things that you were experiencing with that you were just like, fuck it, I'm going to go into business?
I think I just thought, where's the community here? Where is the community for our teen girls? Where is the community for the staff that weren't being treated well, particularly sort of women in midlife and then young girls in their 20s, those behind the bar that were being treated in a way that wasn't okay with me. So it was hard to sit in a space where the morals and the values of the people in charge didn't align with your own. And I just thought to myself, there's got to be more. There's got to be more that I can offer the world and the community. And I remember one of the biggest things, I guess, that has taught me in life, we emigrated in 1987 and we lived in Ocean Reef. There was nothing. So our primary school hadn't been built yet. In order for us to have play equipment at the primary school, our dads had to build it. Then on Christmas Day, City of Joondalup would come round on the back of a ute and hand presents out to all the kids. So I grew up where this community just helped each other and it was gone. I could not find that anywhere. And so I tried to think to myself how I could help people in my local community. And for me, that was through fitness. So I'd worked in this space for about 12 years previously. And I had the belief that if I could help people be strong physically, I would help them mentally. And then if I help them mentally, they'll go out into the community and their strengths will then help other people. So I guess that's how I felt I could um, help people in all demographics. So now I work with teenage girls, which is only once a week. And then out of all the classes I run, there's 11, 7 of them are for women. Most of the women are between sort of 35 and 70. There's those that are older than 70, and they're like the ones that make everyone laugh and,
We
are
love
absolutely
that.
incredible.
Yeah.
And the ones that the younger generation can ask them questions and what, we can learn from them. And so because I'd grown up with what I thought was an incredible community, that's what I wanted Strong Minds to be. So I mainly only run classes and they're kept small, so up to about 12, 13 ladies or men. There's 3 men's classes so that they create their own community. So an amazing lady who works in mental health, she walked in last night. She said, I need a good workout. I need a boxing bag. I've had a shit day. And I just gave her a hug and bless her. She started crying and I put her straight on the boxing bag. Everyone else did their own warm up. She got to have have her own space. And she was able to cry in in a group of women that were going to do nothing but support her. And then you sit back as an entrepreneur and you take a moment and you think, fuck, I did it. I actually now have this community that I wanted to create. Um,
How
and
beautiful
it's
is that?
amazing. Yeah, it
That
really is. Yeah.
You're giving me goosebumps with that because those are the moments that it makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
When you actually get to see the shift in people and, creating that safe space and that sense of community and belonging. I love that you brought up the point of, you had this great community when you were growing up and now it's not there.
Yeah.
Because we're losing that.
Yeah.
We're going into the digital world, absolutely. But we are biologically, our design as a human being is to fit into society and to find love and connection and support. So I absolutely love what you do. I think that's awesome. And, tying in the exercise side of it, because a strong body equals a strong mind, is absolutely crazy. Not crazy. It's like phenomenally crazy, because it's such a thing. And I get really quite passionate about this, as you can tell, because so many people, discredit how much of a positive impact exercise can have on us.
Yeah.
And like exercise alone, but then exercising with a group of people who are there for you, have that support, have that sense of belonging. I just think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And we were talking before we even started recording about how cool it is to be able to be 2 women talking about helping inspire other women and men, obviously, everyone, to do some more things, because when we do get those moments of reward from our journey, that's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
And as you say, everyone's got that specialness about them, right?
Yeah.
And when you do go into the entrepreneurial world, it's like, okay, what do I bring to the world?
Yeah.
How can I share that?
And I think a big thing for me is having empathy for everyone. And although I like to think that my tribe has a lot of that, there's a lot of the world who I think are losing it a little bit, where we judge people too quick, too fast, from what's on the surface. A perfect example is, if you see someone that's homeless, for me, a lot of people will assume that they've fucked up somewhere in their life. Maybe they've taken drugs or they've done this or, and whatever it may be. And on occasion, that might be the case. But there's also a huge part of it. No parent has a child and wakes up and thinks, how can I screw up my child's life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No 10-year-old boy or girl thinks, I know what I'm going to strive for. I'm going to strive to be homeless by 17.
Mm.
So I think empathy going into business is a huge part of success. Seeing where everyone has come from, understanding it doesn't mean you have to agree. You may not agree with someone's opinion or where they've come from, but yeah, for me, empathy in business is a huge thing. And in the exercise space or whatever it may be that people are coming to you for, everyone's had a journey. right? Someone might have lost someone close to them in the last few months. Someone may be coming back from injury that used to be a professional athlete and they're struggling mentally now. So you're there to, get them back into exercise, and what you provide them is way bigger than what you can ever be thanked for. But yeah, I think every single person that comes into your life has got their own journey. Have empathy for them, whatever it may be. Be kind, and not just to them, but to yourself. When we're on the golf course and my partner will swear or say something negative about his shot, and he says something, and I'm like, would you talk to your best friend like that? So that's something from a mindset perspective I try and say to myself in business. If something hasn't gone right or you've put something out, maybe you haven't got as much interest back as what we would have liked. Be kind to yourself in how you talk about it.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't talk to your best friend like that in a negative or nasty way, don't talk to yourself like that.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that I try and get across, especially to the teen girls. And the other thing is make someone's day better because you're a part of it. And that could be anything, right?
That's
It could
beautiful.
be a smile, someone drops their books, pick their books up. Someone's shoelaces undone, they're 95 years of age, bend down, do their shoelace for them.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It costs nothing to be kind.
Yeah.
And I love that. Yeah. It's make people's lives better.
Yeah.
And just if you're around, I love, there's like I think it's a quote or something, but it's just be an absolute delight to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you,
I like that one.
Yeah, be an absolute delight. No matter what it is, if if you're a customer, if you're the business owner, like if you're the boss, coach, leader, whatever's going on, be an absolute delight.
Yeah.
I've had one of my friends who. He's very direct, and I love it. He's very direct, very successful, and that directness is really good. But, and there's things that I learn from him and he learns from me. And one of the things that, I've been kind of like hinting towards him, and I say hint lightly, it's more like, hey, do this. What are you doing? But it is that, but just be a delight, like even when you do, because when you become an entrepreneur, you do deal with some people that, you're a little bit like, oh God. And we're just people. I know that I do people's heads in. I'll be the first one to say that. I've got too much energy for some people, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't like everyone. I don't expect everyone to like me.
Yeah.
However, what I do carry myself on is being that person that no matter, even if we are having an interaction and we can't really stand each other's energy, you'll still be like, it's pleasant. It's not like I'm not going to be rude, and I love that you bring up just being kind and putting kindness out to the world, because when you do decide to go into business and you think about like, okay, what's the, it's like, what legacy do I want to leave behind? And when you have the legacy
100%.
of being a nice human being, being kind,
Yeah.
that shit goes further than anything else.
Yeah.
And when you can understand that, hey, I could do business and I can be a fucking great human being and just be an absolute delight, do business, and people will, they'll resonate with you and they'll resonate with your story. And you, as you say, you find your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then you bring people together and you help inspire and build. And when we go into entrepreneurship, it's really important to remember that that's the level of impact that we can have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree. I think, there's a saying, when someone stands up and reads your eulogy, what do you want them to say? Are they going to say, oh, Louise was a size 10 and she was a good netball player and she was this? Or is it, she had the balls to start her business and she was kind to everyone she came across? And you won't be there to hear those things, but that's the legacy you're going to leave behind, And the other thing, when you were saying about being liked or disliked, that is something that when you go into business, you need to be okay with not being liked. Doesn't mean you ever want to do anything for people to hate you or dislike you, but you need to be okay with being unlikable if your values don't match somebody else's.
Oh, that's music to my ears. I love that. Please elaborate.
And
please
be strong enough with who you are that you're okay if they don't match somebody else's. And I always say, everyone's values and morals generally come from our background. So who our parents are, what country we were born in, our ethnicity, all of those things together generally bring our values and morals together. And doesn't make mine right. Doesn't make mine right and yours wrong. But you need to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and have the same values. It's taken me 2.5 years to find a female GP that I will refer to. I get nothing back from them, but 2.5 years of looking for someone that has the same values as you isn't easy, not when you're not willing to compromise. So there's some people you meet that you might agree on this, but you don't agree on that, but that's not enough for me. So if I'm going to send my clients to someone who I think is going to look after them as much as what I would, 2.5 years to find someone. And thankfully she's only in Joondalup, so it's nice and close. But build your tribe and make those, make them just bloody amazing women. I have great men that have obviously helped me. So when I say great women, I want women to have the guts to do more.
Oh, they need to have more audacity. Ladies, ladies, we're talking to you. Need to have more audacity. Honestly. Thank you for bringing that point up. You are absolutely correct because we as women naturally fall under a glass ceiling. You know, I know like through and through feminists, absolutely. We just need to have more balls. You know, I did an episode and it was really fun. We're talking about lady balls and it's like, put your lady balls on and just go for it because we naturally do suffer that glass ceiling and we need to just have the confidence to just break through it. And I love that you brought the point up about when your values aren't aligned with people because a lot of the time, and particularly like when you go into business, if you say you're a bit like pressed and you're like, oh, I really, I need some cash or like, things are getting a bit tight and you kind of start operating from a bit of like a scarcity point of, oh, maybe I'll do business with this one. They don't really fit my thing and you're on the fence. But then having the courage to actually stop and say, hold on a second. This person or this business, their values don't align. I'm not. I'm gonna ride this little rough point out rather than going to business with someone who I don't align with. And I think that's, it takes incredible courage to be able to do that because when, things getting tight and if you are, operating, you're the sole breadwinner of the family and things are getting tight, you can get thrown into those moments of like, maybe I'll compromise this once. But when you stay true to yourself and true to your goals, your purpose and your vision, it makes it so much easier to just say, nah.
I think that for me, I turned 40, I was over in the US and that's when I decided that's it, I'm doing it. It's now or never. I remember sitting in the hotel, I think it was St. James Hotel in New York near Broadway, and that's when I registered for the life coaching course. So I already had the health and fitness side of it. I wanted to do life coaching. And then I thought to myself, okay, when I get back, I am going to save and save and save and save because I'm doing it on my own. So I was a single mum. I had the house. I lived alone. And so for probably 3 months between November and January, I did both just so that I had the money still coming in. So then I finished the job at the yacht club in the January and started off with 4 classes and now it's built to 11. And I think you have to be ready to put the hard work in. There was a quote I saw yesterday that said, if I spent a day in your life, would I believe that what you tell me you want is what you're working towards? So are you really just going out having coffees and hoping this happens and hoping that happens? Or would I come and spend a day with you and go, wow, she gets up at 6, she trains at the gym, she feels amazing. She's, watching the sunset while she reads her book or her education, whatever it is that you're doing. And I thought, yeah, imagine if every day people could see what we were doing as entrepreneurs and the work that does go in when you really do want it to succeed. Um, anyway, so when the business opened and you're on your own financially, yeah, there's times where people want to work with you and you have to say no. No, I've got this. I'm on my own. I'm doing it. And I think sometimes that's also what gives you the drive. There's no room for failure. Well, for me, certainly there wasn't. Do you know what I mean? At that stage, I think I'd been divorced for about 4 years. I've got an absolutely incredible partner now who's very supportive, but he was the one that sort of said the words to me that in a lot of relationships and marriages, there's an imbalance of financial power. And when I look back, there 100% was, in a lot of marriages and partnerships, the men are earning more. Not in every sense. There's a lot of women doing amazing jobs, earning a lot of money, and that is awesome. Um, but a lot of the time, when you have a family and the mum stays home, then the dad's career is still going and going and going. And all of a sudden, you kind of feel insignificant when it comes to the finances. And there were 2 occasions I had the ability to go into business and it was sort of pushed down. And so when I decided to do it on my own, how empowering you make yourself feel to go, I can do this. I can do this. No one can tell me I can't except me. So from a mindset perspective, I had this thing where I couldn't even let negative thoughts come in. So it wasn't that they could come in and I had to push them down. I couldn't let them come in. There's an amazing lady, Steph, that I've worked with, and she just taught me to build this bubble. So if it was negative, it had to bounce off. It couldn't come in as far as what your thoughts were. And to remember that if our brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination, if we tell it we're going to be amazing, if we tell it we can do it, we'll eventually believe it that that's what we can do. No different to a compulsive liar, right? They lie and lie and lie to the point where they believe what they're saying because they've told themselves so many times. So I think in business, whether you've been told you can't do it, you need to be strong enough to say that you can and then, raise that glass ceiling, whether it's your husband, whether it's a partner. My parents, the first thing my dad said was, "Are you sure you want to do this?" The second I said yes, it was, "What can I do to help?" So sometimes if you go into things strong enough and say, "This is what I'm doing," people will jump on board, and help you. And then if you are having days where you're doubting yourselves, they're there to remind you why you're doing it, that you've got support, you've got encouragement, all those things. And the 2 biggest things, what they say holds us back, fear and ego. Screw your ego. So what if it doesn't work? We've got to be big enough to go, I gave it a go. Generally, the people who are dragging us down, they don't have the guts to do it. Do
You'll
they?
never be judged or
No.
criticised by someone doing more than you. Because if you
Exactly.
put yourself in our shoes for a day, you would understand that there is no room to do anything else.
Exactly.
We're so freaking busy. And people don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, one big thing that has just really shone bright for me on my journey is the amount of people who have been willing to help. And I mean people who have started billion-dollar companies have agreed to mentor me and, work with me and come on the podcast and do all of these things.
But then you're obviously attracting those people as well, Andy. People don't want to work with not nice people.
Yes.
In a world that's hard enough.
100%.
So they're obviously seeing something good in you as well for them to do that. And that's when we need to sit back and go, I'm a good person and I deserve that.
Yeah. And you've got to have that inner conviction.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that's kill the ego, and I got my view on ego kind of changed because we need the ego. We need
We
to be able
do.
to, like a humble ego
Yeah.
though, because you need
Yeah.
to be able to have that resilience to just keep getting back up.
Yeah.
And getting back up when you get hit down, smacked with a fish, smacked with a wet rag.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
now I've got a flat tire. You're like, damn it, world, what is going on?
Yeah.
But just to keep getting back up and getting back on the horse and keeping on going,
Yeah.
you need to have that resilience from your
do.
ego. And it's, I love that you bring in the element of, self-accountability and self-belief
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have to, and, the whole don't even let negative things come in
Yeah.
because you're absolutely correct. Our brain doesn't know thought from fact.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
neuroscience, right? Like that's
Yeah.
a thing. And when we tell ourselves that we can't do something, we by default will act in a way that says that we can't do that.
it.
But
Yeah.
when we stand there and stand firm and say something with conviction, I love that you said to, like your dad's whole thing changed. Because imagine if you went in there and you shakily kind of said,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to do it. You'd be like, okay, well, all right. Like,
Yeah.
what do you need? Like, people won't just resonate where if you go in there, sure as shit on what you're doing, you're like, this is what I'm doing. This is
Yeah.
where I'm going. Get on the train or get out of my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like that
people
one.
are like, oh, shit, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get on the train. No problem.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing. And you see it when someone oozes that confidence and not like cockiness,
Yeah.
but confidence, that ability to just say, yeah, I'm gonna make this work. There's no room for error. I'm making this work.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. And I love that you've started this journey after going through a divorce and seeing these experiences of the good and the bad in people and just saying like, I'm not having this. I'm gonna align my business and my values to the things and to the people that I really want to be around. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And that is what we get the ability to do when you do become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think so many people don't realize that. It's like, oh, it's terrifying to go in a business, but it's like, actually, you get to choose who you work with, and like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you're 100% right. We do get to choose who we work with. We get to choose who. I think based on your brand and what you offer, that also chooses people. So I would say in 2.5 years, there's been 2 people that have come to Strong Minds and haven't stayed. And you can tell who they are from the second they walk in. And that's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're unkind. But the environment that I guess there's an element that I've created, that Strong Minds as a business has created, and the people that have come to Strong Minds, the environment they've created for each other is very warm and loving. If someone's missing, someone's on the phone straight away. Are you okay? Because we thought they were going to come and they're not there. And yeah, just 5 minutes away. We had an incident last year. One of the ladies, her daughter was in a horrific car accident. People were making meals, taking them round to her house. Everyone chipped in. We, sent her vouchers so that she didn't have to cook. Now, these women don't know each other. They've never met each other until they came there. So I feel like they've chosen me as well to be part of their life, and they've created this space for each other. Now, when someone new comes in, they get a hug from me. That's the first thing that happens when they walk in.
And she gives really good hugs to BTW. Some people are really...
But not everyone likes it, right?
Not everyone likes it.
No.
And I'm a bit cautious because I'm a hugger. I'm like,
Okay.
oh yeah, embrace me. I love it. And I miss the cue sometimes and people, because it's so automatic for me. And then some people are like, oh, I'm not a hugger, but I'm like, oh, you get cortisol from this thing, right? Come here.
Yeah, yeah. So it could be something as simple as that.
Yeah.
That I can tell maybe some people are a little bit taken back by the warmth and that. So your business won't be for everyone, like Strong Minds isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
I like to think that the strength training that we do, it's for the everyday person. It's not for the 18-year-old who, is comfortable in lycra and a sports bra, because a lot of the, women that come, they're going through the middle of menopause. and they just want a safe space physically, safe space mentally. So when you talk about choosing who comes, it was never really my intention to provide specifically a space for that demographic of women, but that's mainly what it has become. And I feel like they've done that for each other. So now someone will bring their best friend, or their neighbor, or, someone else that someone new is coming tomorrow. She's like, oh, I live next door to so-and-so, and would it be okay if, I came along? She says it's amazing. And so, yeah, I think in business you get an opportunity for us to choose who we want to work with, and then your clients will also choose who they want to work with, being me as a trainer, or whether it's yourself as a business coach, or, coach for people that want to go into business for the first time. And you'll find your people, right? Like, I'll come here, we'll talk forever. You can tell you
100%. 100%.
uh,
You know it. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, sure as shit we will. It's a thing. You pick up on that. And when I love that, and this is the whole idea about going into entrepreneurship, is you get to create that space. And how wicked is it? Like, for the people and, for the listeners who are sitting there and they're like, oh, I've got this great idea, and, just like harness it, tap into it and do it, because you could create this space where you're just doing your thing. You're waking up every day and you're like going to work, because it doesn't feel like work. And those hours, those endless hours just feel like nothing, because you're working in your obligation. But then to create a brand and a structure that's so incredible that people are like, hey, I want to bring this person, like, hey, like, they do your marketing for you, because you've just created this environment, and people forget that everyone's got that specialness inside them.
Yeah.
And I love that you've just, I love everything that you've created and what you stand for. I think it's absolutely wicked, because what it's going to do is it's going to show to particularly our women listeners, obviously, but a lot of the people who are sitting there like, oh, where do I start? Like, what's possible?
Yeah.
This is what's
Everything
possible.
is possible, right?
Yeah. Nothing's, what's the saying? There's a saying, it's everything's impossible until someone does it.
Yeah.
And people just need to tap into that more, because when you're like, hey, look at Elon Musk and his crazy dreams, and people were just like, yeah, I'll get on board, no worries. You create that space, and, you might want to become a billionaire. Absolutely. Go for it. But you might just want to replace an income and have a revenue stream that lets you have more time with your family. You don't need to go into business and have these astronomical goals that are then going to require you to put in all of these things. Don't get me wrong. Some people want that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I'm building an empire, but I want to build an empire to help other people know what's possible.
It's interesting that you just said that, because sometimes I feel like there's a part of me where, when I say I'm not in business for the money, I'm in it to help people feel better about themselves. Sometimes I wonder if that comes across like cliche, or as if anyone goes into business to not make money. No, I want to go on holidays, and I want to pay the bills, and I want to be able to do those things. I don't need to make millions of dollars. That's not what brings me joy.
Yeah.
I could have all the money in the world. One of my best friends died last year at 40. No money's going to bring her back.
So sorry.
So, and she threw all the money at the world in it. Once you're terminal, you get your life insurance, you get your super, everything was thrown at it from a holistic perspective, and it didn't save her. So I'm glad that there's someone else that, genuinely believes you can go into business and have other reasons around it, rather than people just thinking you're doing it to want the money side of it.
Yeah.
And, when I was younger, we, myself and my ex-husband, we probably made some money through real estate. And I remember we were in this house, and one of my good friends walked in, and she said, "What did you do? Win lotto?" And I remember thinking, no, if you knew the tears, the stress, the sweat that went into doing what we did, no one would do it. It's like parenthood, right? Someone gave you a list of everything you had to do to be a parent. You'd want to be paid. But I think it's awesome that, you think you don't just have to go into it for money. And I think maybe that's why people think we're so authentic when people say it to me, and I think, yeah, but I'm just being me. Maybe that's because we're not chasing the money. Maybe people can see that, and that's an amazing feeling to think
Mm.
that people know that that's not why you're in it.
Yeah.
But also hats off to people that work, you know, however many hours in a week because that is what they want. I
Yeah.
take my hat off to them,
Yeah.
from that perspective. But yeah, I think when you go into business, you need to decide what you're in it for
Mm.
and be strong with what your beliefs are on that.
That's a really beautiful point.
Mm.
It's so important because you can go into business for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And you can start a business and I've been like I've got people that I do businesses with on the side as well. So, we've kind of stood up companies and then we're like, right, cool, this is another venture that we've got. And it all taps in, to building that connection and that community and building the empire. But not in a sense of like, I don't care about having a shit ton of money. Like, great, I'd love a shit ton of money, but I would have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Like I'd get bored. I'm a very simple person. I like nice things. I buy myself nice things, whatever. But I grew up in a tin shed.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm so easily pleased with things. I don't need flashy stuff and I don't want to say like, oh, I've got 10 million sitting in the bank just cause. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's some asset
Yeah.
stuff that I can put back and like create things with or help other people with, because when we go into business for the right reasons and our obligation to the
Yeah.
world, what that does unlocks this fire within us that you just cannot explain to someone
Yeah.
until they've started turning up the gas on it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, because it's in there. I genuinely believe it's every person has that little spark in them, right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes you just need someone to just help you move the little gas up a
Yeah.
little bit. And then once it's gone, you're like, great, cool. How fun is that when you just get to like go into business and work in this obligation that fills your soul?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
How often do we, and I would love to get your thoughts as well, because, we were talking before we started recording that you weren't going to, and you mentioned actually earlier that you weren't going to have the opportunity to do business while you were with your ex-husband. So what was that like? And now, knowing what talk us through that.
I don't think you realize it at the time.
Mm.
So I don't ever remember feeling almost like he was doing anything wrong or I certainly didn't think he was being nasty. I guess in a way you're kind of, society has conditioned us that they bring in the money, you stay home and look after the children. And although I did go back to work when Ash was probably maybe 3 months old, only, a couple of days a week. I think it was two shifts a week at the time. I don't remember, feeling nasty thoughts towards him because of it. I just thought it's what you do. And because we were doing the real estate on top of it, so we were moving every single year, plus he was a shift worker. So to be in a household with someone that's a shift worker anyway with a brand new baby is hard enough, let alone when you're moving every 12 months on top of it. So I just thought, oh, this is what you do. She'll get older and then you'll have your opportunity to, do what you want to do and that sort of thing. Both times that I could have gone into business were both in real estate, to own a real estate company, which I had worked in. My mum was in it for 25 years. And I believe that those people asked me because in that industry, I'm not going to say it's rare to come across trustworthy and honest people, but they don't have the best reputation as a whole. And so I believe that's why they both asked me, which at the time I took as a compliment, but it didn't work out. So, and I think that's where I think if women are looking at going into business and you're in a partnership where you may be being held back a little bit, the first question we might need to ask ourselves is, are we looking at going into something as a hobby or are we going into it as a business? At that time in your life, you probably don't have the time to use it as a hobby thinking you're going to make money because you're so busy anyway. But if it's a genuine business where you believe that the income will possibly create a different life or the life that you both want, then you've got to stick up for yourself, And I say to my daughter now, don't ever, ever let any man tell you their job is more important than what you want in life. I'm not saying you can both have jobs where you can't pay the bills, and if you want to, if you want a 2-bedroom house, then yeah, maybe things can be different. But if you want a 4-bedroom house, then you both in this day and age, both need to work. But it doesn't mean their work's more important than yours. And once she did come out with the comment, Dad's job's not as flexible as yours. He can't just have a day off. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, I built a business around being flexible. So it wasn't that I was given this business and then all of a sudden I'm now in a position to take you to school and pick you up from school and take you to basketball training and pick you up from basketball training and make sure that you can get to work on time and do this. You build a business around what your life is at that time. And if I look at it now, so she's in year 12, so come September, I don't have that anymore. Then the business can change again, and it can be whatever I want it to be. So at the moment, I work Monday to Thursday because I always said that Friday you can do your accounts and you can do your posts and you can set things up and you can do all of that. But maybe once she's not at school, the business can take a different direction. I'm working with the GP now, so maybe I'll do more with her. So I guess what I'm trying to get across is fight for what you want. If you tried to do it and it hasn't come about, fight again. Find those big girl balls and, write it down, have a plan, ask them to work with you to achieve what you want to achieve, because you will look back and, the saying, you'll regret the things you didn't do, but you'll never regret the things you did.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
I'll never, ever regret doing this business. But I regret not doing it sooner, but you've got the life you've got now. So let's take it to the next level. Let's meet more people. Let's inspire young girls and boys, I would say pretty much the only negative thing I've come across in business was probably about 2 months ago, maybe. And because I've moved into the menopause space, I wanted to hold a workshop for men to come where it was like,
Oof.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Well, the men didn't.
Of course they didn't.
And it blew my mind that in 2026, the comments, and they're still up on my Facebook page. So at first, when the first 2 or 3 comments came in, I deleted them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want this negativity on my page. Here I am, it was $49 or something, right? So it wasn't a ridiculous amount of money. It was a workshop where they came to. On arrival, we were having nibbles, they could get a beer, and it was just going to be a lighthearted, educational chat. Your wife doesn't hate you. She doesn't know who herself is right now.
Yeah.
She's not having an affair. It hurts to have sex.
Yeah.
So it was just going to be this lighthearted thing. Anyway, the nastiness that out of 100 comments, 99 were from men. Horrific. Absolutely horrific. This bitch just wants to make money. And I'm like, it's $49 and you get a beer and nibbles. Like,
yeah.
What?
Probably spend more at the pub.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's still on the Facebook page, so anybody can have a look at it. But just the nastiness that came from it, and I could not believe, maybe because I'd created such a kind community that I'd never experienced it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just think fight for what you want. Don't let people like that put you down. You know, I mentioned it to there's 3 men's classes, 2 of them a male instructor takes, which is at nighttime, and I take a Thursday morning men's class. So the Thursday morning, everyone's sort of between 55 and 85. And I was telling them about it. Well, did they get defensive? So then you can see these comments come on from these men saying, Louise, what you're doing is amazing.
Yeah.
I wish we'd had this when we were younger.
Mm.
But no one booked on to do the course. And that's when I thought, wow, we've got a long way to go, you know, and it's not about, you know, most of the comments were that I'm a man hater. I have the best partner in the world. My dad is my hero. My stepdad is the world's best stepdad. So I think I don't hate men at all. I've got incredible men around me. You know, when my parents were out when I was younger, if I needed to get home from a party, their friends would pick me up. You know, so again, this community that I was used to. And then there were just these men that were horrible, but then you got to see the beauty that another group would come on and fight for you and go, you know what, she's just trying to be nice here. Save marriages, you know, try and just, even if the men went away with one thing to help their wife, you know, how come everything bad in a woman's life starts with man? Or like, you know, menopause or menstruation or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, you're totally blowing out what this is. So from a business perspective, be ready to cop that. I feel like that's pretty much the main thing that in 2.5 years. So I don't feel like I've done too bad.
Yeah.
But you have to be okay with being unlikable.
Yeah.
Like what we said before.
Yeah. I really like that point. And like, I love that story in that context, that the whole thing that you've just captured there, because it shows, you know, if you look at it from the lens of, okay, I've got a business, it's doing well, it's flexible, I'm going to try something different, and you'll face this, right? Like we lift and shift businesses and directions all the time, and you're going into the unknown.
Yeah,
like what's going to happen? And like sometimes you might have this beautiful experience and everyone's like, fucking woohoo, this is fantastic. And then sometimes they'll be like, fuck off, fuck you. Like, you're just like, oh my God, why am I getting so much hate?
Yeah.
And what was going on for you internally? You know, were you getting like, did you start at any point start really like having doubts, or, because that would be a lot to just be hit with?
I think for me, it goes back to empathy.
Yeah.
These men have come in contact with the woman that did not treat them right.
Yeah, they're probably divorced.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably single and divorced. Yeah. So I felt it was coming from a place of hate.
Yeah.
But not towards me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were taking it out on me.
Yeah.
But I think at some point they've either maybe had issues with their mum, with a wife, with a girlfriend, that's made them act out like that. No happy person wakes up to write the shit they were writing on that Facebook page.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, they're not happy.
Yeah.
So I didn't take it personally that they were attacking me. I guess I feel like for them, it's coming from a lack of self-esteem and probably a lot of pain from somewhere. So that's one of the things, I guess, doing the life coaching. I don't know if you came across this, but the biggest thing I took out of it was that your values and morals and thoughts are not that of somebody else's. So although I think that behavior is wrong and that they might have grown up like that, that could be their norm. And how sad is that?
It's an interesting point that you bring that up, right? And this is where it ties into the empathy side of things. When you do understand empathy and you can change your perspective on things, you can't actually hate people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really hard. Like even, and I might get a bit of lashback from this, but and I stand at the point, like I've been in domestic violence and the guy just like nearly killed me a couple of times, right? Like I still can't, like I'm like, you do me a favor if you jumped off a bridge, absolutely, or build big ass building, no worries.
Yeah.
But I can't hold on to that hate. And I can't, like, I know that it, even though I copped the output of that, I wasn't the thing that was upstream that led to that. And when you have that empathy towards people, you can sit and go, okay, I know that this is not a direct attack on me.
Yeah.
And we'll face that, you know, when you go into business, you're going to get lashback, you're going to get haters. And I'm like, great, bring it on. You know, any publicity is good publicity, right? As they say.
Well, the menopause one,
Yeah.
I've never had so many comments on a post.
Yeah, perfect.
And I was like, and that's when I decided to leave them. I stopped deleting them.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually let people see what you're writing.
Yeah.
Because no one else is agreeing that that's a kind thing to say.
Yeah.
And now your name and your photo is saying something nasty on a community page.
Yeah.
So, and then I just stopped replying to them and stopped defending them because I was like, well, everyone can see what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Now you've just shown your true colours.
Yeah. That's it. You got to ride the wave out, right?
Yeah.
People are going to hate on you. People are probably going to talk shit about you
How
and
have
your
you
business.
found it? Have you found?
Oh, I've actually, well, I don't know. For me, I think I just put the blinkers on. I'm kind of like, yeah, do you live a life that I want? No, no fucking way. Get lost. That's how I look at things. I'm like, okay, if I look at the people who really inspire me and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like if they were like, hey, and I, for me, I know that the people who were around me, if they had something that was, you know, a negative thing to say back to me, it shouldn't use the word negative, but constructive, like a constructive thing to say back to me, they would deliver it in a way that actually helps me grow.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, tell me where I'm fucking up so I can get better.
Yeah.
Like I embrace that.
Yeah.
But when you have people that just hate on you for like no good reason, you're kind of like,
yeah.
Like I've had.
You can't control their behaviour, right?
Oh, I got called a junkie slut and told to die once by a member of my family. And I was just like, meh, what am I going to do about it? Nothing. Like, I know that that's not me. So it doesn't matter. You kind of just move on from things. And I think when what is it? Like water off a duck's back. You kind of just got to roll with it. And when you know that, okay, this is something like this person this is like hurt people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a healed person.
Yeah.
And I love healing people. So I'm the whole kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
Even if you're a dick, even if you've been mean to me. Like for me, if you say that, like you could throw whatever you wanted at me and I'd kind of be like, I'd set my stuff on fire, I'd be like, I'm still alive, I'm still breathing. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I get really protective of the people that I care about though. Like if someone, and I have that inner sense of justice because I know a lot of people won't actually stand up for themselves the way that I will.
Yeah.
And if someone steps out of line around me, I'm nipping it on the butt straight away.
But the world needs more of that.
100%.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's gone so much the other way.
Yeah.
You know, stand up for someone who's not strong enough to stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
I remember we were at the basketball state champs and my daughter was playing. There was this boy, he might have been, I don't know, maybe 16, 17, behind the counter, and there was all these mums trying to get a top, and I got to the front and he went, yep. And I was like, oh, can we please buy a top? He's like, what size? I'm like, what sizes are they? Do they come like small, medium, large? Do they come 8, 10, 12, 4? And he went to get one at the side and I just said to him quietly, I was like, look, we're all here just to buy a T-shirt from you. You know, I hope your day's going okay.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, he was being so rude to everyone that was coming along.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what had happened to him that day. But I also wanted to let him know it's also not okay to talk to people the way he was talking to them. Whereas everybody else all day had obviously just let him speak to them like shit. And sometimes I just feel like it's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to stand up for someone next to you. Just deliver it kindly.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a total bitch about it.
Yeah.
Or nasty or whatever. But these, you know, the boys that are roaming around suburbs at the moment on e-scooters. Where are the parents? Why is no one pulling them up? Why is the community not where is that community? Comes
Yeah.
back to that whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, in business, I think we also have a chance to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big believer every business should help a charity once a year. So I changed my charity. Last year, 3 of my ladies went through breast cancer. So last year we did breast cancer. This year we're doing mental health matters. So that's a ride that's happening. If any of your viewers or watchers want to get involved in a ride from Perth to Mandurah on the 3rd of October.
Yeah, bike ride?
Yeah, bike ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we love this. I love this.
So we'll hold a charity event on the 12th of September, then the bike ride.
Yeah.
And as much as we'll raise money, it's the awareness.
Yes.
So one thing I would say to anyone in business, I don't have $10,000 to give a charity.
Yeah.
But I have time. I have a venue. I have enough kindness and enough people around me that can come along to these events and support whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So if every business supported one charity every year, imagine how that would change the world.
Oh, right.
So business in itself, there's so many different ways in, doing entrepreneurship. It's not just about what we do. It's what we can create for other people. It's the doors we can open for other people. It's the new people we can meet, right?
I know.
So yeah, but getting back to, stand up for other people, especially those that aren't, strong enough to stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I love that. It's great. And tying back to the community that you've created, right? And I hope our listeners have been reflecting on this, but in case you haven't, obviously, right? When you do go into entrepreneurship, you can by default create that movement.
Yeah.
That happens without you even being there.
Yeah.
Like imagine someone tried to throw mud at your community and you weren't there. You're here in the podcast recording with me. Someone's out there. You've got a tribe of people that will go to war for you.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about business. It's not about making a heap of money. It's like, what impact can I have?
Yeah.
How many people can I help?
Yeah.
And it might be that you help 5 people. Sick.
Yeah.
Might be the best, that might be your goal. You might want to help 5 million people. It's they.
If I asked you how you wanted to help people, what would you say?
Make sure no brain goes to waste.
Oh,
that's my whole thing. Everyone.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's my why, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's got it. Everyone has a little something special to bring the world. And my job is to bring it out in people.
Yeah.
And that's why, doing these interviews with the likes of yourself, how cool that, this is going to be massive for a lot of our listeners to say, and I've interviewed people as young as 18, and then into their 70s. So there's no rules in life. There's no perfect, there's a perfect time to do everything. And that was 20 years ago? Next is now. So no matter where you are in your journey, you just dive into it and have a bit of audacity and a bit of courage to go, okay, I am going to do this and I might fail. I might stuff it up, but it might not. It might go so great.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know where to start, just start doing something.
Yeah.
Because we get this bias on that there's a limit of money and everything's scarce but there's actually not. A lot of the time we by default are going into these scarcity mindsets, and I think just when you switch your attitude to abundance and I have something that I can bring to the world and I might want to start the business and you might not want to start the business. Maybe you want to work for one of these businesses.
Yeah.
I'm so passionate about leadership and making sure that no brain goes to waste, right?
Yeah.
And I know that when you are under the right leadership and have that influence around you, people can achieve great things.
The sky's the limit, isn't it?
The sky's the limit. There's no excellence isn't capped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give the Olympians some steroids. See what the humans got. No, I'm joking. But I love people taking more courage, and that's final thing is just get out there and do it. Have a bit of audacity to just dive into it.
And why not you?
Why not you?
Yeah.
Why not you?
And if not you, why someone else?
Yeah.
Why does someone else get to live their dream and you don't get to live yours?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. That ties into a question I ask all of my listeners. My favorite question. What does audacity mean to you?
So I've had a good think about this one. I even asked my group of ladies last night.
Ooh.
Yeah. If I had to say one word, I would say for me, audacity means brave.
Yeah.
Be brave. Do it boldly, do it with courage, do it with kindness, but be brave. And if that means that in order to have enough of that braveness, you get a couple of people around you to sort of build that up while you're starting, that's okay. It doesn't have to be solo. But yeah, audacity to me means brave.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
you give me goosebumps. You give me goosebumps. This has been absolutely amazing. Before we wrap up, I would love to get your advice. One piece of advice or a thought, feeling that you want to leave our listeners with.
Find your tribe. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. So if someone doesn't make you feel good, they put a cap on how far you can go or what your dream should be and how far they should go. They're probably not your people. It's okay to change friends, to change groups. It could be better than you know. So choose your tribe carefully because ultimately um, they're the ones that will help you on hard days and they were the ones that will celebrate the good days. So your tribe is one of the most important things to me. Yeah.
I love that. And you're all about that community sense. I just think
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
And thank you for having me.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
This has been absolutely incredible. We could sit here and talk for hours. We really could. I know there's so many things. We're going to have to circle back and do another podcast. But before we tie off, thank you for that. That's wonderful. You did mention the ride. Was it September? What date in September? We'll
So
give a
the
little
actual
plug
charity
here.
night is the 12th of September.
Yep.
So that's held at Strong Minds,
Yep.
and that's the actual charity night where we'll raise the money, do the raffles, and then the actual ride is the 3rd of October.
Yep.
Which I believe is in school holidays. So what it is Owen, who is the driver behind Mental Health Matters. All the funds go directly to Lifeline WA. But basically he needs riders to help support him ride from Mandurah to Mullaloo. He has survived mental health himself. It is the 10th anniversary of an amazing man who did take his own life. And we're trying to just create as much support around it as possible. The funds will go directly to help people on the phones who are at that tipping point. So, yeah, any riders out there at all, you've got plenty of time to train.
Yes.
Even if it needed to be broken up. So if someone says, look, I can probably do half of that, but I'll get someone else to do the other half. We can tag team halfway. But it would just be awesome to get a group of riders to come through together. And their whole motto is manning up is speaking up. So if we can all take that black cape off, learn to speak up to help ourselves and to help each others. If anyone's interested, they can email me, info@strongmindshealthandwellnessstudio.com.au, or you can jump on the Facebook or Instagram page, chuck me a message and I can get you the information. That would be awesome.
Awesome. And I take it that's the best place for people to contact you.
Yeah, if anyone's interested, like I said, there's the teenage girls that we look after. There's 3 men's classes and the women's classes. So basically strength training with mental health mindset as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
wicked. Oh,
thank you.
what a vibe. Thank you so much, Louise. This has been brilliant.
Thank you for having me.
I have loved this and I cannot wait to see where everything unfolds and, to learn more about your journey. And thank you to our listeners. Obviously, all of the links and everything will be available in the show notes. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.